one of the most important things about new KVKs in general is, of course, policies, and it's important to know how to build your policies in a good way, right? Of course, every single new season has a different kind of policies, and Age of Duality is, of course, the newest KVK currently in Call of Dragons. And yeah, we're gonna speak about the policies. We're gonna check which kind of policies are new ones, which kind of ones are old ones, and of course, I will show you the path which lets me to be competitive on every stages of the KVK, right? And of course, I have been doing that for a while, and it will be another policy video which we have done many times, right? So yeah, let's start. Of course, we're gonna mention like more of a early game policies, then some mid game, and of course late game. Of course, one more thing, there is a governance choices, and that's really important, right? Depending on everybody's account and how your accounts are basically played out in Call of Dragons. So yeah, let's start from the beginning, right? One really weird thing about this season's policies is that of course, we have chain of command, spread of the word, and the vigor, which is generally the old policies, but here we have a choice, right? Like in the past, we could basically upgrade each of one, but this KVK we have to choose between the SP recovery speed, prestige gained, and stamina limit bonus, right? Which is really weird because I believe spread of the word is really early game policy, which is great, and it was important to have, and also why not to have SP recovery speed. But yeah, in general, because I know how important stamina is for the PvP gameplay, whenever statue fights will start, and whenever, of course, general fights, wars will start, stamina limit will be crucial for that type of gameplay, right? Of course, even more crucial for players who are basically using 1 or 2 marches for the PvP. Trust me, the stamina is going out really fast, especially if you are losing, right? So yeah, we are having here a choice. I choose to go for stamina bonus because I'm a fighter in Call of Dragons, and basically that's how I'm having fun in this game, right? The next one, which is the most important policy for early game, which is military expansion, which is giving us limit capacity, which is basically allows us to have more troops in our marches. That's basically the most important policy, right? Maxing this out is your number one priority first couple of days whenever you are starting the new KVK. And here we are seeing the new one, which we have not seen in other seasons. The preferential policies reduce prestige required to create artifact variants, right? This season is about the double artifact per march, so this basically gives us like chance to have not chance, like the prestige, the cost of the artifacts to create for a second hero pair, second hero in a hero pair, you can actually create it, and cost is prestige, right? So it will just reduce the prestige of the artifact. So medical supplies and medical recruitment, basically everybody will do that. Of course, this is for a daily elixir production, and this is daily resource healing. And here, well, basically we have resource healing, right? In early game, it's not really necessary to go for a max 10, right? 3 is enough, right? Because at the start of the KVK, I'm pretty sure you are not going to resource heal your troops, because there is no way that you're gonna fight, right? Like, statue is like in a 1 week or in a 2 weeks, and the pass level 2 opens in 2 weeks, right? So, like, there is no matter what you are doing, there is no necessity in order for you to increase this one to 10. So let's just keep it on the 3 levels. It will be enough for us to move to a next stage, right? And here we have one more new policies in our section, and we are basically stopping it here in the early game, right? The new policy here is the increase Legion march speed by 50% for these seconds after traveling through portal. That was a choice, and legions cannot be obstructed for 30 seconds after traveling through a portal. I believe I generally like March speed. I don't see a case where I'm gonna use it. If I'm gonna make a mistake, of course, yeah, I will admit it's a mistake. But I believe March speed is nice, and the amount of time is basically good enough to have, especially as an archer player. That's good enough, right? So basically here we are stopping at the early game, and we are basically moving to the mid game and then late game, right? Here I always go for the elixir production speed, because generally whenever there is fight, I'm online lot of hours per day. I'm not gonna say whole day, but lot of hours. And if you are generally online in Call of Dragons, whenever you are healing, I would say go always for elixir production speed, especially if it's in percentages, right? Here is the capacity limit, which is nice, but yeah, I'm just used to it, and that's why. Here, stockpile days and medical daily resource healing. I went to daily resource healing. I have been playing like this for 3 years, basically, right? So this is where I went, and it's not really important to go for max level because fights have not started, right? Then we have buried bones, well, the revive right at the end of the KVK. If you have dead troops, this will revive you, and max level is 20%, which is nice, right? Make away, of course, is here. Buying for the blood is here. Cost 100k prestige for the next 30 minutes. So you don't really have to increase levels here and here, because here especially it will cost prestige. You will need a lot of prestige, especially in early game, in order for you to progress through the policy tree, right? So you don't want to spend 100k here, like 300k here, especially in early game, right? That's the main idea. So even buried bones, it won't gonna affect your gameplay. We are just moving past. Here, whenever we are speaking about the counter infantry, cavalry, marksmen, and mages, depending on your main troop type, right? For example, myself, I'm archer main. I generally play with archers during the PvP, and of course I know that my main target generally is infantry, right? That's why I'm going for counter infantry. And also in the downside, I know that my best target is mages, right? So whenever I'm hitting mages, it happens basically for 3-5 seconds. If this fight is experienced fight, I want to utilize those 5 seconds in the best way. That's why I'm going to go for the magic counter-attack magic. So yeah, just choose whichever your main troop type, and whichever opposite troop type is counter, right? We are getting one more new policies here. Diligent Blade, increase of merits obtained from artifacts by 5%, or reduce artifact skill cooldown by 10%. So about this season's second artifact, we know that only skill matters. So basically, if I will utilize the cooldown reduction, basically, yeah, I'm gonna get even more merits than this 5%. So basically, that was my thought process. That's why I chose the reduce artifact skill cooldown. So maybe let's see if it will be correct or no, right? So after that, we are getting one more second most important policy, which is of course military expansion 2. And this is really important to have on a 50 levels, because 50% will be the maximum, and you're gonna have full march in your hand, right, which you're gonna use for the fights. So yeah, it's important to go for there, but what this will allow us is for the first time to choose our governance, right? We have reprieve as always, benevolence, and diligence, right? I believe there is only two choices here, right? I believe the reprieve or diligence. I'm just basically used to playing with reprieve, right? Because I'm online all the time during fights. Daily elixir production will help me, elixir capacity will help me. Also, I have multiple archer marches, not only one or two. I can basically create 5 marches, even 6, and fight. So far I'm not having stamina problems, right? If you are having stamina problems in your account, then you are going for diligence, because you want to utilize stamina limit bonus 50%, which is really high. And of course, resource healing also minus 20% is good amount. So basically, if you know that you are having troubles with stamina, go for diligence. If you know that you are not having problems with stamina, you are going for reprieve. That's generally how I look at it, right? And yeah, basically, it's not that easy to go after this, because you can see I'm basically playing since the start of the KVK and my prestige is low. I can't really move through because it will be costly, right? Here we have Light of the Beacon. We are already in the late game basically for policies. Captain of the Guard. It's not really important to max these two if you are not the rally leader or garrison leader. It's important to just move to the medical supplies, health scale reform, and so on, right? Here, I'm always going for elixir production speed, as I have mentioned, and of course, I'm going to go for here reforms, and for the resource healing, I'm always going for daily resource healing. After that, our old friend, Bitter End. This is really tricky. Don't forget to turn it on and off during behemoths and fights, because I believe you don't want to have dead troops whenever you are fighting in the war, right? You want to have them going to the hospital. So yeah, just don't forget about Bitter End. Always read it whenever you are applying it, right? After that, I'm really glad that this policy is coming back to the game and it's not been removed, which is private practice. Spend 10 prestige to gain 1 elixir. Basically, in the end, whenever you have full policies and you don't have anything to upgrade, you will be able to sell policies for elixirs, and you're gonna use those elixirs and heal your troops to fight even more. So I'm really glad that we have at least some ways of getting elixirs in this season, because we know that Timeless Treasury was an amazing feature for this game, right? So yeah, this is private practice, and in the end we have a palliative care and gain 1 elixir for every one of your level 4 units that die, right? So yeah, this is tricky. Of course, private practice is much better, but yeah, just increase level to this, and this will be the end of the policies of Age of Duality, right? So we have some things which was surprising, as I have mentioned, this first choice here, because I believe it's not a problem to have all of them to like 10 levels, why not? But out of nowhere we have to choose, right? Of course, military expansion will be here. Generally, only the new things which we are having here is basically the seasonal feature, which is the double artifact, right? Nothing really policy which we have not seen, but I'm just glad that at least we have some other way of getting elixir besides Mary Store in this current season, because yeah, last season was great. Rise of the Dragon is amazing because there is Timeless Treasury, and it's really important to have a lot of elixirs if you are liking to have fun in PvP open field, right? So yeah, basically this is my way how I'm going to be building the policies for Age of Duality. If somehow this video was helpful in a way, press like, subscribe, share. It always gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. And as always, I wish everybody an amazing day, morning and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye and good luck.